everybody. Welcome back to VFX and Chill. I'm your host, Seth Worley, and another person that is your host is right to my left. My right, your left, his left. What? Hashi,
well
how are
done.
you?
Well done. Doing very well.
Good.
And over to your right, then, would be our amazing keeper of knowledge. Michael's a lap screen.
Hashi just died.
So I did. I welcome everybody to VFX and Chill. And tools, they're all around us in every industry, really. And
that's our show, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Tools. This week, Hashi and I are talking about tools. Tools, throughout centuries, tools have been used to help mankind. If you can't tell, we just realized we have to do a show right now, the second it started. Not really. We've prepped some really fun things to talk about today, mainly because a lot of fun things have come out this week.
That is true.
This week and last week. So I'm also having the idea we should maybe talk about, first off, there's been some confusion, not amongst any of you, but amongst us. This week will not be our season finale. Next week will be our season finale. At which point, it's going to be the season finale to finale all season finales. It's going to be the greatest show we've ever done. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And you'll all tune in for it. It's going to be great.
Was good.
This week, I was thinking we'd talk about some of these fun tools that we plan to talk about. It also might be fun to recap some of our favorite tools that we've been using this year. Stuff that, obviously, if you've watched the show, you'll have seen 1,000 times. But it's good to recap and talk about it, too. Basically, lockdown. And what else? What else are we talking about?
I mean, I think that's pretty good. I mean, this has been an awesome year for some exciting upgrades for things like that in this visual effects realm. I feel like it was both the year of everybody believing you can create a movie by typing in a sentence to a computer and then just walking away, and but also a year that a lot of really cool functional things came out. I mean, generative fill for Photoshop made generative art a lot more interactive in a traditional Photoshop type of workflow. Things like Lockdown are expanding the ways that you can think of organic surfaces and how well you can add graphics and things to them or track them. We had a lot of experience earlier in the year with GeoTracker, which was a neat kind of in between for our two worlds of 3D and 2D kind of stuff. And man, I'm sure a handful of other things, including, I think I'm going to try to talk about a script/tool that I tried building.
Exactly.
I'm darn close.
I was going to say, we're also, I forgot to mention, we'll be talking about tools that we made this year and are currently making. Because this past year, thanks to that first part that you said about this being the year of people thinking you can make a movie by typing in a prompt and walking away. Because of some of those things, Hashi and I have gotten a significant leap forward in our ability to write After Effects scripts and build our own tools and automations. And we talked about them to some extent on the show, especially the ones that you've released. We're going to dive a little deeper into that stuff as well. What should we do first?
I do have this plain stampy one.
Let's talk about plain stamp.
So I'll just go ahead and start with that, and then we can devolve from there. So I will hopefully start sharing my screen.
There you are.
All right. So
there it is. If everyone wants the script, just real quick.
So just
copy this down.
Just type this down. Yeah, there's that section, and this section, and then this section, and then this, and then that, and that, and that, and that.
Hashi, I just hacked the planet thanks to you.
Such a useful tutorial.
You are welcome. But I mean, the great thing about it is if you screenshot that on your phone, you can select the text and just copy and paste it into another document. So it's. But actually, when I release scripts that I wrote, I release them easily accessible, just so you can dive in and mess with them yourselves, because I find it fascinating to learn a little bit more about this. I will admit that ChatGPT has been an instrumental part of me trying to learn how to script things in After Effects because I understood the general gist of it. And I feel like I could read other people's scripts, but I couldn't do them. And so right now I have, I recently released a tutorial for this little tool called 3D Plane Stamp. And I think you might have all seen how it worked. It looked like this, where you would, if you had some like footage and it was a 3D tracked little scene, you could create any solid using the tracker data from the camera like that and say like, oh, I like this floor plane right here. Select that thing and then click on the little plane stamp button. And you'd click on that button and it would think for just a moment and then it would go, oh, chipunk. Oh, I didn't check my HQ delay.
The HQ delay is a big, big deal. The next request I have is for different pixel aspect ratios.
Ah, yes. I feel like I remembered writing something in for that.
I did too, so and then I used it last week and it didn't work. So maybe I have.
I'll double check. I think that I updated past it by accident.
Sorry, I'm being a downer by pointing out things.
It's all good.
What cool things you have?
So this would have normally worked, but this is actually my rig wrecking comp, and it actually shows one of the errors that a lot of people were getting with 3D Plane Stamp, and that's because this piece of footage is actually a raw piece of footage with 32 bits per channel. And so when this stamp button was writing this nice PNG right here that is supposed to be the texture of the floor here, you were getting these like black, too dark kind of squares, and that was annoying and discouraging. So it worked fine for most pieces of footage, but if you were working on a higher level, you were getting this kind of error. And so what I've been working on this week, and what is sort of rolled up into this little bit, is the 2.0, which I'm still modifying as we speak. So I'm going to say added pre-comp functionality. All right. So let's save that. I don't know if people can hear that plane in the background. It sounds very loud to me.
It sounded like a musical hit. Like it sounded like
plane stamp.
Oh my God.
Damn it, Michael!
All right. Wait, no, wait, what? No, why you no run? Wait. Oh man, this is running right before.
Oh no!
Still pre-comp is undefined. Oh, I know what I did. I probably just mistyped something right here. Look at this. Live help. Still pre-comp.
With the writer's strike going on, it's good to have scripted content again.
Checkbox. That's what that needed to say. Now I'll save this.
Sorry. I'm not on the ready with it. I'm just going to keep it at the forefront on the Stream Deck. Keep my finger on it.
Here
Look at those new
So,
features.
So here's the old 3D plane stamp. And here's the new 3D plane stamp. So the main difference is this one. Yes.
Real quick, while we're talking about new features, would it be possible to make the yellow in that icon match the yellow in your normalized track script? Because having them be the same yellow would make me much happier.
Are you?
What are you talking about, Michael? They're exactly the same.
So
Hashi, let me
annoying.
ask you: are you drawing those logos, or are they images?
I am drawing these logos and then running them through. They end up stored in the script as
Base 64.
Yeah, like as.
Is that what it is? Base 64, base 30.
Here it is.
Yeah.
So here it is.
If you want to send them to me, I can unify them for you as in the VFX and Chill yellow, if you like.
That would be delightful. So we'll get that taken care of. But yeah, new buttons is the main idea. So the default functionality was always to export a still PNG. And because of some of the users' experience using it on VFX and Chill, we added this HQ delay button because there were some people using it for like 4K footage and things, and it would take a little bit too long to write the PNG before it imported it. And so this just adds a nice little 5-second delay. And then look, there's a little helpful tip to say exactly what it does there. So still PNG. Hopefully it has a helper tip right there. Let me see if I can do this. Whatchamacallit trick. What is it? The Windows plus key?
Oh, are you doing? I zoomed it for you, but go right ahead.
No, I don't. I need to figure out why my magnifier.
What the?
Is just. It's like.
Oh, it happens in a window.
It happens in a window?
Whoa.
I thought it. I feel. Oh gosh, this is confusing.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
That's not how it worked the last time I tried it.
No, that's not how it worked the last time I
said.
used it. Okay. Anyway, you can still see it pretty big. That's nice. So we got, this still PNG, still pre-comp. And what the still pre-comp does is it creates a duplicate. I can't hold it and show the thing at the same time. So it creates a duplicate pre-comp instead of doing a still frame. So in this case, I'll check that box, and then I don't think I actually need the HQ delay. I think I can just press the stamp button, and it'll stamp it just like that. And that's what we should expect, even though this is 32-bit and everything.
Yeah.
So now we have that lovely stamp. And in case you don't know, this is now a 3D layer. And it's using this still frame sent over to a pre-comp, and so it's maintaining all of the color information and everything like that. So if you send this through a higher processing color tool, you won't suddenly have an 8-bit graphic in the middle of 32-bit stuff. So that's
Hashi, is that pre-comp? Can I see the inside of the pre-comp? Is it the stretched texture like the PNG would be? Okay, excellent.
Just like this. So it's flat. So if you wanted to, you could dive in here and say no walking or something. I don't know, whatever these days say.
Oh, you need a lovely stencil font. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Wait.
We don't need to fall down a font rabbit hole.
No, you set me off now. What do we need? What's
Hello Pata 143, by the way. We're glad you're a big fan.
Do you have Interstate, the font, or
I doubt it. I just scrolls and I see one that has a hole in it, and then that's the one I use. Oh, come on. I swear to God I have. Who cares? Who cares? No walking. And then you could add like a little displacement map. Use the original footage. Let's see. Can I do that? No, it doesn't quite understand it. Whatever. You can put things into the pre-comp and then dive into here, and now they'll be in here in this
Look at that.
Space. Look at that.
Hang on, what was wrong with the displacement? Because that should be able to like.
On
now I
text,
want
I
that to
think
work.
it gets
it's
weird.
the footage down here, and then an adjustment layer.
Yeah.
Hey Seth, can you scooch our?
top.
Can you scooch our?
Sorry, I scooched us so we could see the fonts. The fonts were important.
But then so this text layer, if I add a displacement map to and select the adjustment layer, it does not know what's happening, and you can't tell the adjustment layer.
That's really annoying, by the way. I wish After Effects, since an adjustment layer is working on the composite of the layers below it. A reminder for folks who don't know: an adjustment layer does not apply the effect to all of the layers below it. Like behind the scenes, all it's doing is taking a composite of the layers below it and applying an effect to it. But there's no way in After Effects to get access to that composite information to drive other things, as far as I know.
Yeah, without pre-comping all of this again. So, anyway.
Pardon me, I'm off to write a feature request.
To throw things in here. So then the other bizarre option here, and I think I'm going to add I haven't modified this helper text yet. I've added live pre-comp. And that does probably what you would imagine. So if you have, some section of footage like this, I'm going to scoot it a little bit forward just to the middle here. And I'm going to check live pre-comp, select this piece and say 3D plane stamp. It'll dive in here. And it should look just about the same. But as I scroll through, even though you won't really be able to see anything, this layer is actually the active footage getting undistorted by the location of the 3D plane. So this is the live footage from it. So if this were like blades of grass blowing or something like that, they would still remain animated. So it's like a 4-point lockdown. So you can do this. The only issue with this live pre-comp, and I'll put a warning in here, is that what's happening is we have a power pin effect that is reading the 4 corners of these points, placing itself right there, and then unstretching them into a texture, and then putting the whole texture back exactly where it used to be. So very clean. But when power pin starts to go way outside the boundaries, like look at this. As soon as its to screen position suddenly becomes some astronomical off-screen number, you'll see that the power pin effect starts to fail, probably right around here. There you go. So that's the drawback of the live pre-comp version, is that at some point, if your plane goes out of frame, this will happen. But if your plane stays in frame the whole time, like for example, if there was like a window on a building that always stays in frame and you wanted to get the like blowing curtains in it or something like that, you could do this and say live pre-comp, and it'll make a flat plane that has the video texture properly, projected onto that thing. So that is the upgrade to 3D plane stamp, and I'll try to get that out to you all more officially. I just need to double check a couple of more things. It's a tentative update.
Will we be swapping the file just out or making a whole new link, I wonder?
If we can swap the file out.
Yeah,
if it's a Maxon link, then I think we can swap the file, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think it'll break anyone's workflow, since all you've done is add features, not mess up anything. So I don't think it'd be a problem to do it. Are you going to make a new tutorial, or just let people be delighted with the surprise?
Nah, just let people be delighted with the surprise, and we can point them back to here. Maybe I'll make a short video or something like that, like a 1 minute what it does.
Nice.
Anyway, tools.
Tools. So to jump to another tool, and we can jump around. We don't have to stick to categories here. So we just showed off an update to the tool that you made, Hashi. Now I want to jump to a tool that Adobe made. A tool, a little tool by the name of RotoBrush 3. If that's cool with you guys, I would like to quickly show you a comparison between RotoBrush 2 and RotoBrush 3 that I ran into this past week when working on my movie. 1 second, 1980. I'm just making sure I import the right plate. We can go to my screen anyway. 06, 1980. Don't let me forget that. Look how many VFX shots are in my movie. It's gross.
Wow. Wow.
All right. So, real quick, I have to preserve RGB so it looks right. All right. So, I've got this here shot of our friend Tony Hale. It stars in my movie, Tony Hale and Darcy Carden. I got Tony Hale walking down this hallway. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but you guys are fine. You're a cool crowd. You won't tell anybody anything. So, I was doing some haze, like I talked about at the end of last week's episode, adding some smoke layers and fractal noise and such, like in the various just layering across the Z space from that back wall all the way up to camera. As such, I needed to roto Tony here, and then because I tried a depth map, but nothing was. For this shot especially, it needed to be a very crisp roto on him. So naturally, because it's me, I tried to use RotoBrush. And real quick, I'm right here. I'm not in the beta, I'm in the regular. So we'll try RotoBrush 2. So I just select Tony here and let it assume the worst. And it will. And then go, I hit the wrong thing. Go in and hone this roto by going in like holding down Alt and clicking where I don't want there to be roto, updating where I do want there to be roto. And this shot gets tricky because, one, he comes from behind. Golly. No, I don't.
Sorry, it's just Cedric is wanting you to roto that sticker because it's right over top of what you're working on.
Oh, really?
Making it.
Yeah.
The sticker's kind of in the way.
I can get rid of it. Hang on. So then, just do a little bit of this.
I mean, I have found that working with RotoBrush is easier if you do a quick.
And that's the secret to
first.
RotoBrush too, to getting it to work exactly right. And there's nothing else you can really do besides that. Now, what I will point out here, like RotoBrush 2 is tricky because, this shot is tricky because he comes around the, oh gosh, I'm freaking messing up all over the place here. He comes from behind the doorway. I've also got this kind of space. This is the kind of space that RotoBrush has a lot of trouble with.
Hates it. It
really
hates
does.
that, and it hates Batman's ears.
It effing hates Batman's ears.
All Batmans. It is agnostic to the to which varietal.
So I'm just gonna try and tell it this is what I want. I want this, right? Nope. I want that's the edge of the hand. Okay, let's just see what this gives us. And it's probably not gonna be good. So I'm just gonna start playing. And almost immediately, it's like, okay, you don't want that anymore. You don't want this. All the stuff you did, I'm going to undo that because now you want this stuff, right? Oh, you want her leg, right? In her head? That's part of a person, right? So this is just, and you don't want the hand anymore. Wait, maybe you do. I'm going to get rid of it for a split second and then bring it back. That way you can really appreciate it. This is what RotoBrush 2 is thinking. So, we have this. I don't know why I don't use it. Okay. Here is that this space in between the arms is still really weird and glitchy. It's still like if we turn this on to look like this, you can see. In fact, let's do this. Look at what this mat looks like. It's just really messy. You get some of Darcy there for a second. Like he has wings most of the time and then doesn't all of a sudden. So,
well, every time a bell rings.
RotoBrush gets its wings. So, RotoBrush, I had heard, hey there, Sailor, there's a new RotoBrush 3 in the After Effects beta. So I thought...
Hey Seth, just so you know, if you want to demonstrate the differences between RotoBrush 3 and RotoBrush 2, you don't have to jump between After Effects is you can switch RotoBrush to the old way in the beta if you want to.
Oh, that's true. I could. I just already had it open.
I'm just concerned because if you've got it rendering in the background, it's when you're idle, start rendering stuff, then your computer might hate having to After Effects.
I have that turned off currently. According to my Whirly scripts, I have it turned off. So let's go into the beta here, and let's do the same thing we just did. Let's start from roughly the same frame. So I'm going to do exactly what I did before. Draw on Tony. Draw on what I don't want to be Tony. Oops, I actually did want that to be Tony. My bad. Let's get that. This little edge here. Let's get an arm and hand. Now, I don't expect this to go perfectly because nothing goes perfectly in life or anywhere.
That's true.
But ideally, when you iterate up a whole number, a whole integer, you'd think maybe it's going to be something impressive.
Yeah, it wasn't like a 0.5 or something like that.
No half measures here. This is a full measure RotoBrush update. as Walter White called it. This is so interesting watching a guy RotoBrush a person, a movie star, if you will. Okay, let's get the leg gap here. Oh, I hit his leg. That's going to confuse it. Boop, 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 boop. 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 Okay, whatever. You think you know better.
Now, Seth, do you usually work on a raw version of the layer when you're rotobrushing, or do you color do some color correction first to give it more contrast to work with?
Feels like a leading question. I
usually crank the contrast up a bit to help rotobrush out.
I try not to confuse RotoBrush with anything first. I try to just do it straight, and then one of my tricks, if it doesn't work, is to pre-comp, is to do some color grade, pre-comp, and then do RotoBrush. Why pre-comp? Just safe to do it. I'm old school. Here we go. Let's try it. And let's play. Oh, let's play. Incredible. Here we go. Look at the lack of wings on this man. Oh, it's still got Darcy. I still got to guide it there. So let's say, no, don't grab that leg, RotoBrush. It's like, okay, I'll try and figure out whose leg is what. It might get weird for a second. And I say, that's okay, RotoBrush. You just do your best, because you've already proven to me you're trying harder than that other guy.
But I mean, also of note, it's faster.
It is.
It's way faster.
That was way faster.
Specifically, the interface, just like adding a stroke and then it adapting the shape is a lot faster, and that's so nice because I hated getting the wait until this one completes until you can add another burn.
Yep. So it's still just getting a little tricky with Darcy as she passes in the background, which that's understandable. Lots of leg stuff happening, but I mean, look at that freaking.
Oh, it's so nice.
I mean, it's just
fast,
immediately.
Full body 4K tracking.
It is immediately doing better than the last one.
Those negative spaces under the arms are so delightful to watch.
Look at the hand.
That's my favorite thing.
Look at that hand. Very, very impressed by that.
Let's watch what happens here. Look at this.
Keeping the fingers is just crazy cool compared to old RotoBrush.
Wow.
Stu Mashwitz in the chat is asking, is RotoBrush 3 voice controlled?
It should be.
I mean, I certainly talk to RotoBrush when I'm working with it.
I do. I tend to say much different words than I've been saying, but yeah. Michael just said "ooh" because he just saw something that came up from Hashi's screen. What is that, Hash?
Oh, this is our water dog.
Water dog.
Water dog. This is my first test with RotoBrush 2 because I was curious, like, hey, how does it do on non-human shapes? And the answer is it is very well on non-human shapes. So here is my water dog just running along. So pretty fun. This is, of course, VFX and Chill folks will recognize our classic technique of you basically take a
dog and turn it into water dog.
Take a dog, make it water.
Dog.
See, here we are. So yeah, here
Spider-Man turn off the water dog.
Here's our dog Bumblebee. Bumblebee's quite a little explorer.
That's a confusing statement right there. This is our dog Bumblebee.
Hashi, is this the technique you used in the Wonder Woman tutorial?
It pretty much is. So
the link for that is in the chat if folks want to look at that after this episode.
So
I like it if Michael just has random links and he's like, is that the thing you used on the Stranger Things tutorial? We're like, not at all. He's like, is there any way it's possible you used it a little bit?
Because the link's already in the chat.
Well, let me see how many
I waited for confirmation
strokes I needed for this.
I will say
16 correction strokes over the course of this thing to get what I consider good enough dog roto. And then, of course, you can expand that selection a little bit and run content-aware fill on it and end up with, let's see, this result, which I think whoops, let me hide all of it. I think I posted a little video of my invisible dog. So this did pretty well. And the trick is that it's a constantly moving camera revealing all of the pieces of footage that will eventually be hidden by the dog. That's a humongous
splotching here and there.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of this stuff, which is fixable with a slightly better roto, but pretty fun. And then once you've done this, you can use the original rotoed character, add an adjustment layer, use some Red Giant VFX chromatic displacement, and you can basically just take this and I think I like to use a very softened copy and use a negative value first, and then you take another copy of it and have it be not very softened and have a high displace amount, so you get some of the detail and the shape back. And you can kind of go back and forth. I ended up balancing these out a bunch to try to figure out what was the right amount of softening of the displacement layer, the amount of displacement, how much chromatic separation you wanted to have within the dog. When you do this kind of level where you get these really clear highlights, then it really feels like a big old clear blob of water. This is a little bit too much, but you get the idea. Maybe soften this up a little bit. There's also some level in here that often looks like liquid metal to me, too.
Yeah.
If you get the right balance of things. So chromatic displacement, not just for, it can be the effect. It doesn't have to be just like a side effect, like in our last week Loki episode. It can be the whole.
It doesn't have to be
thing.
an accident. It can be on purpose.
It can be on purpose. It can be the thing. So yeah, so here's a combination of this.
I love it. Like chromatic displacement is just everything I wanted After Effects displacement effect to be. Like
it's everything I wanted my husband to be.
No, I like him for other things, but
gross.
Because After Effects displacement, like you often get like those diagonal things happening, and I was always like, oh, that's not what I want. I mean, it works for some stuff, but man, the chromatic displacement just does what I wanted in the first place. It's plus you get the option to make it chromatic, which is great.
And this thing with the RotoBrush 3, it was very, very fast to do. So yeah, as I said, like 12 or whatever, 16 little correction strokes, and it did this whole
that's not
clip.
bad. Now, as I understand it, RotoBrush is primarily trained on human figures, but it's getting better at other stuff too.
It really is.
It's really cool.
And what I would do if this were like an official shot is I could probably primat out most of the dog above this level and get a really clean edge. But I actually was doing a couple of things on top of the dog, like I was adding some fractal noise waves that are sort of running from left to right, or left to right, and they are adding these kind of constant warbles in the chromatic displacement, so it has a bit of a front to back flowy look.
That's incredible.
So all fun tips. And then I made a little caustic shadow under him just using cell pattern. And that moves along, and then it gets displaced by the footage in this comp, and so you have the contact shadow with a teeny tiny bit. I mean, there's hardly any sun like really on this dog, but
Right.
It's
It's
a fun little
cloudy day
addition.
shot.
It's a cloudy day. And also I think that I might have tinted her with some of these colors back here from this reflecting puddle, just to give myself a guess of which direction this water was leaning. Anyway, there's Water Dog for you, everybody.
There's Water Dog.
I like Water Dog. That's a really good effect.
What do we want to talk about next? Do we want to talk about Lockdown?
Oh my gosh, do we?
So I'm going to see if I can show off the cat thing I did with Lockdown. Have I talked about that on the show?
Oh, not yet. You teased it on the show, but we didn't get to actually discussing what it did.
Okay, let me see if I can find I had a cat image that
I had a cat
image. Hey, let's see. Cat book, cat cover book. Let me see. Catbook.psd, cat back, cat 2, cat.png. Here we go. So, wait. Am I crazy? So I know we're
still on Hashi's screen.
We are. Sorry. I'm just talking over Hashi's screen. So I think, didn't we do a version? I have so many cats on my computer, different cats from different brands.
I have since the cat's out of the bag here.
Oh, cat mod. I found it. So here's the deal. I've got this cat, and I want to make this cat.
Sorry, go ahead.
You just laughing that I have a cat?
Just so you're like, I have this cat.
I have this cat.
It's like if Dr. Zeus wrote an After Effects tutorial.
It's my cat. No other cats. Yes, I would like to turn this cat alive. I would like to make it move around like a real living cat. That sounded really dark.
There are other ways you can connect to animals than
nope.
Whatever you're about to do.
This is the only cat I want. So here is what I'm going to do. I have here an already moving cat. And I have stabilized, that's the reason this border's here, because I've stabilized the stock footage. So the cat is pretty much staying stationary. I'm going to pre-comp that stabilized footage. I'm just going to call it Stab Cat. And I'm not going to contextualize that at all. I'm going to let it be named what it is. Now, I'm going to use my favorite little tool called Lockdown. And my second favorite little tool. Hashi, you're my other favorite little tool. Let's go to, I'm going to click Pop Out. And I'm going to track this cat at, let's say 1080. I'm just arbitrarily deciding 1080 and extremely accurate is what I would like it to be. Some shots I just want to be accurate. This shot I want to be extremely accurate. And I'm going to hold down the command key since I'm on a Mac, and I'm going to just do what all of Chris Veronis' tutorials say not to do, even though he does it in literally every single demo video. He says, don't just hold down command and drag around to lay down tracking points, and then he just proceeds to do it in all the demo videos. So now I've done this, and I'm just going to click Track All, and we're going to watch this cat get tracked, or we're going to babysit these tracking markers just a hair and make sure none of them go astray, if you will.
Damn it, Michael!
Hey, that wasn't me.
Still blame you.
I just want to...
All right. So, as it's tracking, once this tracks once, then every other track afterward is like absurdly fast, stupidly fast. This one, of course, is... You know what I could do? I don't need to track it at 1080. I could track it.
We do have a tracking break to kind of chill with if we need to.
Track it.
Tracking this cat. Hey, everybody, I'm tracking the cat. Okay, it's still going. It's almost done. I just couldn't take that much Robert Patrick in my face. But as you can see, look, it is tracking this cat's mesh. You guys have been quiet. How you doing?
Oh, I did want to ask a little question for the audience. What are some of your favorite probably TV shows that had like admirable attempts at visual effects during the 90s?
Oh, great.
That like the shows were great and you loved them, and so whether or not the effects were super corny, you love them and they're special to you.
He's basically talking about X-Files, Next Generation, and The Secret World of Alex Mack. If you can
Pretty
give
much.
us more of those
But if you can give us something better than that, then we would love to try to take them and give them a 2023 overhaul.
Okay, so I'm going to add a few markers. I'm just going to add one here, 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 and here. And maybe one here, and here, and here. One at the top of the ears. And real quick, just track them all again. Oh, wait, not track all. Just select my new ones. Oh. Holding down Shift. Boop, 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 boop.
Anyway, the chat has many suggestions. Xena, DS9, Smallville, Power Rangers, Viper, VFX and Chill. And Chris Vranos, speaking of the chat, also says, I think SuperComp is my new favorite tool, especially after last night. Long story, but I had to light wrap like 12 layers, so thanks for that one. Super welcome. SuperComp is one of my favorite tools as well. You could, seriously, you can do so much with it so fast. I know I talked about this before, but I was chatting with someone and they'd spent 6 hours working on a shot in Nuke and were not happy with it. And they spent, I think, 20-some minutes in SuperComp and had a much better looking result. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan of SuperComp. Knight Rider, Red Dwarf, Sequest, Time Tracks, Teletubbies, Strange World of Alex Map, Sequest, DSV.
I believe it was the secret one.
Hercules. A crime-fighting Dodge Viper would transform into a slightly different Dodge Viper. So many suggestions.
Wow. It's like they knew the subject material.
Amazing.
I mean, you're getting suggested, like, it's a lot of folks. You got Mr. Keyframes, Nick Smith, Out Jogging Picture, Stu Mashowitz, Jesse Rogers, B. Roughnuck. The chat is lit up.
All right, so here, this is the fun one to watch, is the stabilized tracking screen. So you can see this is how it's stabilizing my cat.
That cat now looks a lot more like your notebook cat.
It does.
Just pasted in place, hanging out.
I'm going to get a little bit more information out of the ears if I can.
Oh, geez. You sound like you were breaking some kind of Soviet accords.
Always. I'm also going to draw these non-trackable keyframes or points right here, so I get extra. This is bleed room around the cat.
You always want to leave room for blood around the cat.
Auto triangulate, and now this is what it looks. Oh no! Stop tracking, stupid. Play.
I love that we are dancing around the pun that I think Chris Vranos couldn't avoid when we were doing this particular task.
When I messaged him specifically about relighting this cat, and he different ways to apply the UV and texture, blah blah blah, and basically he said, "Well, Seth, there's several ways to skin a cat. I'm sorry, that's all I actually have for you. I don't have an answer. I just couldn't avoid." The pun.
I think I first heard the term "there's many ways to skin a cat" about After Effects, like way back in the day, because a lot of the times in After Effects when you're trying to get something done, there are often 3 to 7 different ways you could approach the same thing. And people always say there are many different ways to skin a cat. And my thought is always, why would you want to skin a cat? Like, no one makes hats or coats out of cat.
All right, so
unless it's like tiger.
Here is, I've hit lockdown and it created it has my background original, then it has the texture that's going to be put on top of this cat's mesh, and then it has, which is pulling from this pre-comp here. I'm going to turn off the checkerboard. These bottom 2 layers are guide layers, and I'm going to drop my cat into, where did my cat go? Forgot we made the back of the cat.
Oh my gosh. We had a lot of generative fun with this cat.
So let's place this cat, generally speaking, where it should be. And if I need to, I can liquefy this cat into submission. But generally, this should probably work pretty well out of the bag. I mean, let's just go see. So I'm going to turn off my background and just use the lockdown layer. And
do it. You're going to let the cat out of the bag.
And the cat is now moving. It's a little frumpy and weird over here on the right side of its cheek, but its ear movements are pretty great. So if I actually go in, I'm going to pre-comp the cat, pre-cat, and then adjustment layer over it and do liquify. I'm going to move this cat's eyes to be looking to the right. Oop.
It's a very successful anatomical liquify there.
And I can just animate this distortion percentage. Animate this distortion percentage back and forth. So let's just do like it's always funniest if it's like darting over. So just a few boop. Now let's do
also I should say Chris Verano says that he's adding in a quick and dirty normals output for lockdown, so you can relight without even creating a mesh.
Oh, killer.
I love it.
It came from chatting with you about stuff.
A VFX and Chill exclusive announcement for that. Not really.
That's incredible.
It might be
keyframe
exclusive.
Assistant. Easy ease. And now we have the cat's eyes are animating.
Ooh. Oh, so good.
So that's really fun. And then it gets even more fun if we...
Oh my gosh.
If we go into lockdown and we say, hey, let's do some 3D work with this cat.
I love that ear twitch, by the way. Like that little ear twitch it gives is so perfect.
It really sells it. I hit 3D and it should. There we go. So
and Michael Pollack on chat was asking if you had considered like coloring and labeling your tabs in alphabetical order, and then you could make an orange tab E.
Come on. No. Come on. His name is Michael in the chat. It's perfect. You got to drop it. I didn't know that. I didn't hear that part. Sorry. God. Okay, let me see if I can remember how to do this. Veronis, what was it? How do I move around this like camera you had in here? So if I believe if I go in here in 3D, I can increase the depth of this. How do I move the camera around in here? Guys, tell me when he says so in the chat. I can't go to it while my screen's sharing.
Alt-click, like in C4D.
Alt-click? Oh, boom. Look at that. It gives me a 3D cat. I can turn up the mesh like depth if I want. So I'm getting this 3D cat that's just like, hey, it's me. I'm a 3D cat. And if I want to, I can export this 3D like a real lunatic to Cinema 4D, export frames and apply textures. Why not? Export to Cinema 4D.
Do it.
Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to export to Cinema 4D and I'm going to send it to VFX and Chill, bunch of tools, renders, cat down.
Now, real quick, I want to mention that someone has suggested sending the cat into Cinema 4D. Cedric says, merge it to Cinema 4D and blow it up, which is a nice reference to our Physics and You episode of VFX and Chill, the link for that being in the chat, as one might expect, where we used cloth dynamics to blow up and morph and throw cats downstairs and lots of other things. Not just cats, but we started with cats.
We love cats on the show. All right, so I didn't export the texture because I knew that would take a little bit of time, but here I have in Cinema...
Frightener's cat.
Frightener's cat. And if I want to, I can just export Frightener's cat as an OBJ.
Were we on VFX and Chill when I was talking about how I was going to make like a Frightener's style effect as like a cheap tricks and was asking for the Cinema 4D team for help on how to do it? And they were like, well, you could start with the like demon pushing through a cloth wallpaper template in the asset browser. And like, there's just like,
why is that always how it is?
There is just a template that
you can start with this thing that we've already done a whole lot of work. Oh my gosh.
They were very nice about it, but how did this one work out for you? The one that, was included.
So I can just bring in this 3D sequence. This actually will go straight into another thing we might want to talk about in terms of new tools, but I now have Frightener's cat here in Element, and if I want, I can say
Excellent.
Frightener's cat.
Texture can be custom layer 1, and then I go down here and go to custom layers and say custom layer 1, please use Stab Cat stabilized. And
That sounds like a
oh wait,
like a 1965 classic.
it does. And then for some reason, maybe if I normalize this size. Oh, look at that. Oh, that got very small. I don't remember how I got this to work, but I did get it to work previously. The point is cat. You can basically bring it back in Element 3D and relight it this way if you like.
And Lockdown works on a variety of different cats, and other subjects. In case you want to look into it,
it's very fun. So that's I've been using Lockdown for very stupid stuff, including making this cat. In fact, I love doing this little side by side, just to see.
it's fantastic.
It makes me so happy.
So good.
I don't know why he disappears, but he does.
I
Hush.
mean, it's like a fun style transfer. Here, no, hey, quickly, just color grade them to match, and you have like just little twin cats mocking each other next to each other.
All right, I can do this a couple ways, but I'm going to do it the fun way, which is
Super comp.
yeah.
That is the fun way.
Let me first put this cat back on top of this cat and then say, hey, cat. You know what? First off, I'm going to say, I think this footage looks like it's log. And I'll send it back out as log. I could be wrong.
I think it's just a low contrast night shot.
It is. You people and your stupid low contrast looks. Just
Low
friggin'
contrast
grade
look
something.
log. It's a whole aesthetic now.
And now,
You need to drop the highlights down some.
I know. Highlights need to come down. And shadows probably can come down a little too.
Oh, look at that kitty. There's some edge blend in there.
We'll do some reverse. Do the works. Diffusion, reverse light wrap, and sure, edge blend. If I wanted to get super crazy, I could even just say Dino Shader. That's going to break it, actually. So
Yes.
let me.
That was cool looking.
Was it because Dino Shader cancels out? Any effects that are. Oh wait, that was a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. Hang on, let me just do.
Now you done it.
Nope, I done nothing. Go back to Super Comp. I lost all my settings that I just did. That's fine.
What do y'all have your After Effects undo and autosave settings set to?
Good question. Where is that? Autosave. Every 20 minutes. Where's the undo?
I think it's like it might be under history or memory and handling or something like that. Like undo states or something. I don't remember actually.
I don't know. I didn't know you could do that. I have, yeah. What about you?
I might be confusing it with whatchamacallit. My autosave is it was every 3 minutes, and then I think I recently brought it down to every 5 minutes.
Nice.
Just because the number of things you can lose in 3 minutes is a lot.
Oh, you know what I'll do? I'm going to apply. That scared me. I'm going to apply Dino Shader to him here.
Ooh, there you go.
Now, he's definitely lit
Look at
differently
that.
than the other cat, but still.
Now, Dino Shader as a tool.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the history of that because it's delightful.
Michael, you'll want to have the Dino Feast link on hand. I made an animated short with my daughter Ava called Dino Feast, where I took her illustrations and of dinosaurs and her story that she made up about carnivores and herbivores going to war to battle over what they're going to eat at a food truck feast they're scheduled to have. And it is this epic Avengers Endgame style battle between every dinosaur she knew of. And so I did a whole lot of puppet pen animation and it's all 2.5D stuff. And God, if I had generative fill at that point, it would have been even more insane.
I think about that all the time. Speaking of felines, I was just asked about consulting on a movie related to orange tabbies that is not out yet.
Heathcliff.
Definitely. So here, sharing on my screen is Seth was trying to figure out ways to have the cat at some point get up and walk around, and so here was my first use of Substance Painter and projection mapping in Cinema 4D to make this cute little kitty. And this cat is all just vibrate tags.
Oh, and speaking of cats, Brian Smith in the chat says a moment's silence for Mewington, who passed over the Rainbow Bridge this week. Mewington was Dead Mouse's cat and is connected to Cinema 4D because Dead Mouse is a Cinema 4D user and has modeled Mewington on one of his streams.
In that case, my dog is connected to Cinema 4D as well, and she's alive. I just didn't know we connect animals to Cinema 4D now. Like this one. But also, yes. Sorry, I was...
Now, what's really great about this, Hashi, is you can drive the color of hairs in Cinema 4D by the underlying texture map. So you could make... This would be like... the texture is stretching here, but if you used hairs and drove that by this movement, you would get like a really good fur
walking through that.
I was actually specifically thinking about that because I was thinking you could, add hair.
You did it.
Done.
It's done. And then over here in the hair shader, if you go to the color options, scroll down to here at the bottom, surface, and check surface color like that. So it'll be drawing its color from the surface, and specifically I'm going to say from the illumination because I have this as a luminance channel right here. So I'm going to try just rendering a random frame here.
Well, hang on. First I would say get some lighting in here.
Oh yeah, good point. Since this cat was supposed to look like the sticker or print of the cat, it had was not particularly it was designed to be very flat cat.
Yes, this is yes.
Okay, so let's try a bit of...
But I'm looking at this cat and thinking I can actually get even more out of it.
This one should be more like a rim light, and that one should be a little bit darker. Okay, so let's see, with the hairs, what are they doing? They are supposed to be coloring from the surface. Oh, maybe they're just... maybe I've got to throw the color back in the color channel. The fastest way to do that, by the way, if you ever have something like in a luminance channel and you want it in the color channel or whatever, or if you've downloaded a model from Sketchfab and everything is in reflectance, but you need it back in the color or luminance channel, you can just go to the channel that has it after double-clicking on the texture here, grabbing the thumbnail of it and dragging it over to color and dropping it like that. It's a very fast way to do it.
Nice.
Let's see, render. Why is my hair also bright? Is what my question is. Okay, the hair's here. The hair texture's there. I've used the color this thing before, but I don't know why I'm not doing it colored properly by the... Michael, what is happening? I have my hair on here.
Help him,
Roots,
Michael.
Tips, tint, blend mode normal.
All right, the surface setting is if you want the object surface to assume the color of the hair.
I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was the hair. Because I've definitely done this before, and I don't know why it's not working for me right now.
Yeah, it's under the color section at the very top of your hair. Like, ignore that. Go to your hair material. Then go to the color tab. And then, yeah, that's color tab. And then under texture, you put the texture in there. Right there.
Oh.
So just go there. No, you don't even have to do that. If you just do the little drop down it gives you and go to bitmaps, you just grab it.
Interesting. Oh, maybe my hair
get rid of like the illumination. Like, it's very bright. Why is it so bright?
Is the illumination contributing to like a global something, or are these?
How bright are your lights?
Not dramatically. This one, the rim light is at
intensity is 400. Yeah. We'll try turning them all the way down and see what happens. Like, put it like at 10.
Huh.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no, maybe there are no shadows, and so it was just, it was backlighting them. That's it. I didn't go to its specular, back speculars at 90%.
Yeah.
Which can look really cool, but check it out.
Here we go. Now you need some, just tick on some frizz and clumping and some of that stuff real quick.
Yeah, let's do a bit of clumping, a bit of frizz, and there we go. Kinky cat. Okay, and then let's go to grooming mode for a second, and let me help you out here, Kat. I could go edit the actual, thing, but instead I'm just going to go, let's give you a little haircut around the eyes.
Mr. Keyframes is saying, did Hashi just model a cat in the past few minutes, or was that a pre-rigged asset?
Pre-rigged.
This was we used this cat on our
something
tree, our physics trees thing, whatever that was.
Yes, we did.
Physics and You. The link is
Physics and You.
just a little bit earlier in the chat.
It was lovely. We got the. Oh, you look so wise. I mean, not for nothing. Like this hair engine is a lot of fun.
I think overall we need more hairs, but shorter.
Yeah. So we can probably go to. There are a couple of ways you could do that. You could add a length. Now that I've done some like haircut already, you could go to this length thing and just turn down the. This length a little bit. And then you could go.
That won't make the guides change at all. It'll just make the hairs that are driven by the guides change, which is fine. But if you've got any physics where something moves the hairs, then you're going to have hairs.
That's a good point. So
you might want that though, because it would look like it's getting brushed by the wind. Like, it just kind of depends on what you've got going on.
Brushed by the wind.
So
the name of my autobiography.
I'll just go ahead and. So yeah, if I were doing this for real, I would probably set these like this. You want the guides a little bit longer than you'd expect the hair to really look, because it's going to be thinned out by the other stuff. And maybe double the, or I'll triple
add a 0. I would have just added, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
There you go. We'll just render that. There we go. Now we're getting closer to like a furry setting. I'm often trying to go for like a game level hair thing. Let's see. I know I could have just created a new poly selection instead of shaving its eyes, but.
And you can also go into cloning to make even more hairs show up. Hair is so much fun to play with.
Hair is fun. Hair is fun to do.
It is.
I, in fact, love all of the other physics kind of simulation stuff that we get to do here in Cinema 4D.
I'm going to need a dead bird from you soon, or need your help making a dead bird, FYI.
The cat can help you with that.
Ask me to nail to you. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, there's the cat. I don't need to. We don't need to cat anymore about cat.
Well, I am doing one more thing with the cat. I'm using generative fill to make this cat just a little bit cooler. Trying to, let me see. Because my plan is,
Excuse me?
I'm making this cat a little bit cooler. I would like to show off my. I would like to show off Breakdown in just a second. If you guys remember that tool I talked about last week. I'm going to demo it in a second, but right now I'm going to create just an elaborate comp of this cat with this cat thing. So maybe, Hashi, you could talk about something else while I figure this out.
Cedric wants the cat to have a long black beard.
So we want to do a little bit more specific grooming on this cat. Okay, let us go ahead and...
I'm not sure if it was Seth's cat or your cat that needed the beard. I frankly, I say both.
Yeah,
I think both. In fact, we could make both of these cooler cats. See, that would have been a better episode. Cool cats. A couple of cool cats.
There's probably sunglasses in the asset browser.
Yeah, you'd think, right? Okay, let's try it out. Okay.
All you need to type is glasses, and then change whatever the material is to be full reflective.
Hey, look at that! There are some glasses in the asset browser. What are the odds? I don't believe it.
Generative Fill does not want to give this cat a beard, so I'm just going to not ask it to anymore.
Okay, so let's put these sunglasses here. Let's go to...
What Hashi's doing is putting nesting the sunglasses under the bone structure of the cat, so that the sunglasses are smackadoodle going to be moving with the head. It's just the easiest way to get stuff. Oh, scale too, Hashi. Go back to the sunglasses and check the scale.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So your cat is either giant, yeah. So your cat is like a massive cat, probably. Drop a humanoid.
Your cat's a massive cat.
Drop a humanoid into the scene real quick and see what the scale is.
Yep, massive cat. Massive cat.
Yeah. Massive cat, you'll always be.
Oh, I was thinking Mass Attack, which is a
massive cat.
All right, so let me grab all of these and I'll throw them into a group for a second and then scale everything down.
No. You can leave it where it's at. It's fine.
I know, but if I'm going to do like hair sim and stuff like that, I don't want to mess with
it's fine.
Project
It's fine. No, it's fine.
You two are adorable.
It'll be a cool cat anyway. Okay. Sunglasses here. Let's see. What do they need to be? Got to rotate these. I was so close.
So close. You almost got it the first try.
I know. I was going to be so proud.
Never on the first try.
All right. Okay. Let's scale these down. What? Oh, I'm in grooming mode still. Okay. Sunglasses. Where are your... Yeah, there you go. Okay, so let's make this cat a little bit cooler. I like that these are kind of life-size, like in humongous.
Oh, I like that. You just made that cat the PTK cat.
It's amazing.
PTC.
Okay, let's see where the this group. Let's rotate this a little bit. It's always a little bit tricky with animals and figuring out where you want the
finish that sentence.
Velociraptors especially. You never know where you want the temple groups on the glasses to get. Temple groups too, by the way. What do you call them? Handles? I don't know.
Did you say Temple Groups 2? That's the famous sequel to Temple Groups 1?
Temple Groups 2. Do I need to have seen Temple Groups 1 and... Okay, so here we've got Groovy Cat, looking pretty groovy. But next, we're going to need...
I'm sorry, that cat is watching women from his car from a distance. You really need to give him another element besides those glasses.
Okay, we'll figure out some cool stuff to put on here. So we've got... I'm going to select... let's see, go into polygon mode right here. Ooh, this is a nice mesh. Look at this. And let's go ahead and, it's got a subdivision surface thing on. So turn that off for a second. And I'm going to close my weight manager. And then let's just grab the chin right here. Just a few polygons on the chin. There we go. And then maybe a few. Should I keep them as separate hair systems? I kind of want to do a mustache and a beard. Like a little Puss in Boots style thing. So we've made a little selection of polygons, and I'm going to go select, store selection, just so I can always conjure that a little bit later. It'll be stored right here as that little thing. And then I can go to simulate or character, or was it simulate? Yeah, simulate hair objects, add hair. Cha-chink. Great. So now we've got a bit of hair going. We'll go to the guides. I think that's as many as it could even have. And let's render out what this looks like. All right. Oh my gosh. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to need slightly longer, I think. Let's go with about this long for the hair. And then we'll go to dynamics. And what am I looking for? I'm looking
What
for...
are you looking for?
I just want to run it for a second. Here we go. Relax for 10 frames.
It's so good.
I'm going to relax these and set it in a little bit of a nicer state. Their roots are holding a little bit too much. So I'm going to turn that amount down and then relax them
Cedric is enjoying ZZ Cat, and Nick Smith says that the cat is giving strong Kip Dynamite vibes.
Wasn't our intention, but we'll take it.
We will take it. Let's go to grooming, and we'll grab the scissors here, and I'm going to trim down the mustache a bit.
Spider-Man turned down the mustache. We went silent on Spider-Man turn down the mustache.
We definitely need some sort of Spider-Man turn down the what? Turn down for what?
Well,
Sort of
technically it's
drop.
turn off but whenever it's anything.
Okay,
becomes
so we've
anything.
got this thing kind of going now, which is pretty
Mr.
nice.
Keyframe says, "Man, you can't swing a cat by its tail without hitting a pun in this episode." It's true. This episode has turned into.
Stop swinging a cat by its tail and stop skinning it. We need to change how we
What
treat
is it,
cats.
What is it with what happened to
making
cats
cats
back in the day?
Cooler.
Like, there was a big pendulum swing from being worshipped as gods in Egypt to 1800s, like turns of phrase.
Michael just turned into a cat, giving a comedy act, stand-up act.
What's the deal?
What's the deal with not cats?
Man, if snap lenses hadn't been dead, I would be a cat right now, like that politician in the town hall meeting on Zoom.
Like
The
I'm
amount
probably
of times
not
I've said that.
thinking it. Oh my gosh.
The
Okay.
human figure is apparently distracting some folks. Your hairs can be thinner, I think. Like the material, like the thickness of the hair is a little possibly too much on the material.
Yeah, I feel also like I could destroy like 10,000 hairs. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting more to what we need. So 10,000 hairs there.
That's how many hairs Malcolm Gladwell says you need for excellence.
He's always saying that. Every interview just works it in.
Actually, I think before you go messing with the thickness of it, I think just adding in clumping and curl and all that kind of stuff might do it for us.
You probably will. Let's see. Clump. Let's add, a bit more clumping, and I'm going to add some curliness to. Yeah, here we go. It's going to be great. Let's see. Let's make the degrees a little bit smaller. Amount. There we go. Let's see. Oh, yeah. This is a cool cat. I don't care what you say. Let's get some more of this curl going. The amount, direction. Basic. Let's also add. Okay. Oh, man. Maybe a little more clump.
A tiny touch of frizz would probably help as well.
Turn down the kink amount.
Spider-Man turned down the kink amount.
The afternoon shows, they really turned down the kink.
Yeah, things worked. People didn't get hurt. Let's see.
Okay, so we've got. Oops, where are my dynamics? There we go.
I feel like it should be a little stiffer for beard hair, but oh my gosh.
It should be. Let's see. Let's go to the dynamics. Let's do a little bit. A little bit more restful, a little bit more stiffness. I guess I could check rigid too, unless that's too much.
If you get out of your grooming mode, you might be able to see the dynamics in action while it's moving instead of. Did you check rigid on?
Yeah. Maybe we do need a little bit more root hold and rest hold. Stiffness down. Okay. That's a little bit too rigid. That's like whisker rigid now.
I mean, it is whisker rigid. These are whiskers. Oh, I know. I think you should half the distance between what we have now and what we had before.
I felt like
Actually, I can't tell you how much fun it is to play with, like,
to play with cat hair.
I mean, I remember when I first realized that hair stuff was in Cinema 4D. I made a sphere, then used dynamics to drop the sphere, and it just had this hairball rolling down a landscape object in Cinema 4D, and I was just so happy.
This is pretty delightful. Okay, let's see. I think the only thing that I would do from this point on is I would make sure that, let's see, let's go to frame 1, and let's get this brush, and we'll just going to give him a little bit of a head start. There we go. Okay, let's see. Oh, now I need a little bit more rest hold back to keep that groomed beard. We are. Say hello to this cool cat, everybody. Let's see what else the asset browser has to offer.
Pretty cool cat. You know, it's also another cool cat I know is this one.
Oh, excellent. Whoa.
Which I'm thinking needs to be super comped now. And then I'm going to show off.
Severe lack of hats in the asset browser. What the heck?
Are there not very many hats in there?
No,
there's a hat.
No, there's one hat, and I'm not doing it to this cat.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll do it temporarily to the cat just to demonstrate that I would never do this to the cat.
Whoa. Someone write to Donovan about more hats in the asset browser, please.
Definitely need more hats. I'm so sorry, cat.
It's a party cat.
Cat, I feel bad. This is tacky, and you're better than this. I'm deleting it. I'm so sorry.
What kind of hat should this? I mean, this cat with the beard and the glasses.
I mean, it could also have I know. Maybe we'll do a little. I need some kind of outfit. So let's go to him and add a collider tag to him. Let's add a plane. Move that up. Stretch this plane out like this. And then let's look up cloth under materials. Come on, fabric. Gee Louise. Okay. Let's say this carpet looks cool for a happening cat.
For the Shining remake?
Where? What, do I need lights to see this material?
So a lot of the light in your scene is coming from the cat, since the cat's material is illuminated. Instead of being in the color channel, you've got it in the luminance. So a lot of the color in the scene is coming from.
I guess I could turn off my luminance for the cat. I just love the way.
Spider-Man, turn off your luminance.
Okay, so we could add this this poncho right here. Let me see. How many? Before I flatten it, I should have added the right.
Some more segments, yeah.
Yeah, whoopsie.
We'll just make a new one real quick. But make the planes are easy.
Planes are easy. Anyone can fly them.
Chris Browno says, I love that Cinema 4D is playing live and you're just attaching new objects and moving around without pausing it. Not sure if that's a new feature, but it lets you work faster. Not a new feature that you can work in it while it's playing, but the new dynamics system makes it a lot better to work with dynamics while it's playing. The old system kind of didn't go so great if you were trying to mess with dynamics while it's playing, but the new unified simulation system lets you do a lot of crazy stuff just live, like playing with pyro, like fire and cloth and soft bodies in the viewport, just live fussing with settings till you get it right. It's quite nice.
All right, let's add a cloth tag to that. On this collider body, let's turn up friction and stick a bit, and we'll turn on the cloth, we'll turn its friction up a bit. And we'll just say play. Yeah.
Okay, that cat does look like he's got a rug that ties his whole look together.
That was beautiful. I appreciated that one.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's pause right here. Let's see. The luminance channel makes this so ugly. Okay, fine. Oh yeah, now much less ugly.
That beard.
Well, here's where we've ended up. How's our audience doing out there, by the way?
How are you, audience?
Dances for Peas wants a red and white top hat, which would be fairly easy to model. Brian Smith says, let's pause. Lovely cat pun there. Cedric is also on board with the top hat idea.
Well, as long as Cedric's.
Mr. Meerkat wants a bowler or a beret. John J.R. Robeck wants a Heisenberg hat.
A little pork pie.
And Ken Wynn says, amazing with job, bro.
Thank you.
Much better feedback than our Loki episode from that guy.
There we go. Well, the shadows are.
Oh yeah, shadows and the lights make a big difference with hair.
And let's see, light.
Oh, I also want to mention that the Redshift, if you decide to render with Redshift, folks, not you, Hashi, because you're live streaming, but if you want to render with Redshift, the Redshift hair stuff works with Cinema 4D's hair material. So if you have the hair material on there and your Redshift hair material, you'll get all that lovely kink and frizz and stuff that just makes Cinema 4D's hair system so great. And this GPU speed of Redshift working together, it's great.
Working together.
We close the asset browser, and just because I'm curious, then we'll go ahead and say okay, this is a cool thing. It is not harming him. Let's see. Oh, my scale for the scene might fail at this point.
How much? There we go. Oh, yeah. That's what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, you probably want to turn your voxel size.
Look at this.
Yeah, your scene
Fire
scale
cape
is
cat.
definitely like that's an epic, huge, fiery winged cat you've got going on there. Holy cow!
Holy cat!
Yeah. I see. With the hair system, the hair system was fine with the scale of your scene because it's not as dependent. But fire
might need to know. Okay, so
let's go to a different scale.
Let's go to our
This is
basic
like an epic,
pyrocene settings, and I'm just going to turn the Pyro. There we go. Voxel size. Let's start with like 23. Enemy.
No, it's fine.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Epic cat.
I should say for those of you who are watching on channels and we're like, what's all this chat stuff that they're talking about? Because we've got stuff watching on Twitch, people watching on Twitch, people on the Maxon Training Team channel, and people on the Maxon channel. The majority of conversation is happening over on the Red Giant YouTube channel, and that is where the replay of this video will be sitting. So if you're like, listening to us in the background, you're like, crap, I need to make a cat with a fire cape down the road, and you're like trying to look for it on one of those other channels. It's on the Red Giant YouTube channel is where this replay is going to be sitting.
Do it. You could be speaking with the likes of Stu Mashwitz and Chris Vranos and Nick Smith and a lot of people here today.
And speaking of the Red Giant YouTube channel, Monday, if all goes according to plan, there'll be another fun Trapcode particular tutorial dropping. This one is recreating the effect of the dancer falling into dust that people love so much about the Trapcode updates release video. There's a really cool shot of a breakdancer falling into dust as the particles kind of bouncing around the scene.
Wow,
and it's a gorgeous scene, and I loved it so much that I've so y'all requested a tutorial on it, and it is happening. It's already mostly recorded. I've just got to put music to it, and the thing that takes a really long time is subtitles. But I like putting on the subtitles for tutorials because even if people can't hear, they can still make visual effects. I don't make Braille versions of our tutorials because it's very hard for a blind person to do visual effects or motion graphics.
Real quick, before you show that amazing thing, Hashi, hold on one second. I want to real quick to show off Breakdown, if that's okay.
Oh, Breakdown is ready. Yes.
So here's the comp that I've got here with Super Comp with this extremely cool
If you're a visual effects artist out there, pay attention. You're gonna like this.
This tool is in progress. So I've written the code, and I've just started making the UI for it. And the UI does not actually control it right now. I'm still having to change the settings in the code itself, but the button works. But eventually you'll be able to specify, you'll be able to customize your experience here. The idea here is I wanted something that I could hit a button and it could quickly create a VFX breakdown of a shot, of a comp. And so the way that I have to make sure it's set up is that basically any layer that I want to be a step in what it's going to do is going to start the plate from scratch and then just turn on every layer one by one. And it's going to go from the bottom up. Excuse me. So I want to make sure that everything that I want to be a step is visible and is its own layer. It's easy when you use SuperComp because really anything you do underneath SuperComp, you can turn all this stuff off if you want, and SuperComp will still keep looking beautiful because it doesn't rely on the visibility of the layers. So what I have down here is I have my background, I have this big fire, I have this rough background roto there, I have another layer of fire, I have the cat roto, I have the stuff.
Fire from Action VFX?
Yes, from Action VFX. Thank you very much. My generative fill stuff on the cat, and then these embers that are floating in the air. And, this is all out of order. Actually, I need to put this there. So, and then a super comp layer, and then a transform adjustment layer that is scaling it up a bit and doing a little tiny camera shake on it. So what I'll do is I'll go over here and I'll click break it down. And by God, he did it. It made its own comp right here that for some reason the transitions broke. It's supposed to be, you're going to be able to select between fades and wipes. But right now it's just turning on each layer one by one and building it and making you something you can export as a GIF or as a H264 or whatever. I'm going to actually build into it like that it'll automatically render for you as well.
Oh, that's cool.
The one thing that I need to figure out that I don't understand is when Super Comp comes on, the effects aren't working until I go into the pre-comp and then go back and suddenly they're on and working. So that's one little catch. I'm reaching out to some Red Giant folks to figure out why that is and if I can get around it. But right now, the idea here is that you'll be able to click a button and make a quick VFX breakdown video and export it. I'm also, here are my hopes and dreams with it. I've got these specs right here written down. I want to be able to like customize labels and texts if you want. So it'll actually put text up here on each layer to label what it is. I want to specify whether it's the clip is like, I want to make it to where it can play part of the clip, freeze, and then build all the layers and then play out the rest of it. Slices and iterations I'm already working in. Basically, that's if you want it to... I know what that is. That's where right now what it's doing is it's just pre-comp. It's basically making a pre-comp. It turns off all the layers, then turns on the first one and makes a pre-comp of, and makes a, and start again. Duplicates the comp, turns off all the layers and turns on the bottom one. Then it duplicates it again and turns on the next layer up. So it's slowly turning all of these layers on. So you're not getting slices, you're getting iterative steps of the stack. And so I'm going to customize it here to where if you want, it can actually just be layering on slices. But I liked doing it this way because it preserved any blend mode stuff that you might have going on. What else is there that I wanted to have? It'll be render format, rendering out, transition time, specify motions or stills. It's going to be cool. I'll probably have it done in a couple weeks, and I don't know, just like all my other Whirly scripts, I don't know if I'll release it or not. I know that Hashi and can I talk about our plans?
Yeah.
We want to make a chill panel. I think we've talked about it on the show. And I think all this stuff is going to show up in our VFX and Chill panel that we're going to make an After Effects script UI panel that'll have all these toys.
Will Dino be in there?
Well, what?
Will your Dino feast?
Dino Shader? Yeah, Dino Shader can go in there. It'll apply presets and things like that. As well as, I made another thing.
Hang on, real quick before you move on to that, I have two comments. One, it's troubling to me that both of you went to immediately putting the cat next to fire. Like both of you were like, "Cat's fire."
I don't see the problem.
Don't win in the chat. It says large studios use Nuke for visual effects. Are there any opportunities for artists that use After Effects as a primary VFX tool, or is that mostly an independent freelancer hobbyist area? Well, I have some good news for you. Don't win. The large studios, they all use Nuke, but a lot of them also have After Effects. A lot of those places have Nuke or Flame seats right up front where the clients can see, but in the back they've got dozens to hundreds of artists who are working in After Effects. The reason I'm aware of that is because Red Giant sells plugins for After Effects, and we sell lots of our plugins to big studios who use them for such things. So yes, there's a lot of opportunities for visual effects artists in After Effects in professional areas. So yes, but it's you want to have good looking work. So follow our channels for good tutorials on how to make good looking work, and you can make a sweet reel.
And speaking of good looking work,
you could even watch like an interview with the team Academy Award nominated for their visual effects, right?
Yes, you can. I don't want to skip over the segue of speaking of good looking work, but this is some UI that our pal Darby Vicento built for my movie. There's a moment here where a track is played on a phone, and we asked Darby to render out this in its entirety of a song so that we can put it on the phone at various points in time and customize it to our liking. He ran into an issue while rendering these that I had never encountered before, but was baffling to us, which was, have I talked about this on the show?
No, you mentioned it to me the other day, I think.
Okay, so these times, the way that the time works in a music player, I'm just blazing past the fact that I've got Cody Fry here looking like he always does. You have on this side, it's counting up, and this side it's counting down. So Darby was using universe numbers to do this, and a combination of universe numbers and something else. to do this. The problem is, and it's not a universe problem, it's an After Effects problem. When you're doing this at, a freaking minute long, a 4-minute comp or 3.5 minute comp, the seconds started to go out of sync. And I'm not talking like the math wouldn't line up. I'm talking like on one frame, this one would change a second, and then 2 or 3 or 5 frames later, this second would change, and it was like very noticeable. And we figured out that it was happening because of mathematics. So the idea here is it's all working from, if I create a text layer and then I go down to text and I alt-click it and I just write time, this is where it's getting its information. It's getting it from the time, from the comp's current time in seconds, and then a whole bunch of decimals. The way I think universe numbers is working, and the way anything works, is if you try and do, I think it's, was it math floor?
Yes.
It is going to then round to the nearest integer. Now, if I go and turn on project settings, not turn on project settings, go to project settings and switch over to time code. If we watch this, let's go to 2. So let's turn up the Spider-Man, turn up the comp duration. Let's make it 5 minutes. Why don't we? If I go to like the 3-minute mark, you'll see it is not switching. This is from 259 to 3. It's not switching over. It in fact switched over at 259 and 19 frames. Why is that? That's because there are 23.976 frames in a second, not 24 frames per second. So all the rounding it's doing is going to start to go off at a certain point. And when you try to do one, jeez Louise, I
feel like you're like an early explorer, like arguing to royalty why the leap year exists.
Well, okay, so the problem here is like, okay, let's do duration minus, does that work? No, it's this comp dot duration, isn't it? Or this comp dot length?
Probably doesn't help if you're in a drop frame comp either.
Hang on, this comp, is it length or duration? What is it? Duration.
Length is a measurement of space.
Yeah. So this comp duration minus, okay. The point is, if I can get this
You
thing,
fixed it.
I'm going to have trouble replicating the problem here, and I'm going to look like an idiot. But so let's see. We changed. Okay, so 181 changes to 180. 119 is still 119. The point is these seconds were going off. They weren't making sense. So I don't even remember what we did to fix it. All I know is that I made a little script called Whirly Scripts Time Cop, just for this instance for Darby to use. And I'm just going to create 2 text layers. Well, no, I'll create 1 text layer first. And then I'm going to say, I want you to count up and I want the runtime to be 5 minutes. And then I'll say create time itself. And now this thing is going to count. I can change the font, but it's going to go all the way up to 5 minutes. And let's create another text layer. And let's make this a countdown. And it's going to go 5 minutes. And now they are counting in sync. For the duration of the comp. Pretty sure they're going in sync. Or I'm going to go crazy. Let me see. Yep. So that was fun. I made time cop. I have no idea what other use this has other than that part of the movie, but also shows I went crazy for a whole weekend trying to fix this freaking thing.
That is wonderful.
Hashi, I'm confused. I'm looking at your screen and it looks like mine. Oh my God.
It's probably because I'm not sharing, so it must be.
No,
like,
you are sharing.
I am
see
sharing.
exactly what you're doing. I'm not going to show it yet, until you're ready.
I figured it was more like an end screen sitch.
Okay, please do that. Then I'm going to shut up. So that's Time Cop. What else we got?
Man, what else do we got? We did we mention something that we didn't talk about yet? I don't remember.
We've talked about new tools that have come out that we don't make. RotoBrush 3 and Lockdown also 3. We have talked about the tools that we, as you know, Hashi and Seth have specifically made. We've not talked a lot about the stuff that Red Giant or Maxon makes.
Who's Red
We've
Giant?
mentioned some of the tools specifically, but like the updates to Trapco in particular, like I can't express how excited I am about the update to Trapco in particular that lets the children inherit the size and opacity of the parent particles. Like I made a tutorial on it just showing off a technique that someone asked about how do you make the ink blot thing that was in the example video. So I made a tutorial for it, but like, you really like, it's so great that you can make the children inherit the parent size and opacity for so many things. And it's one of the things I was really excited about. And I don't want to, get in trouble, but there's some features coming in the next version in particular that are also extremely useful for stuff that people have been using particular to do for years and years and years. And it's going to make it a lot smoother, we'll say, for that particular kind of workflow. That's the only hint you're getting.
Hey, what do we think of? What do we?
I can play.
Huh?
This is just
yes.
some silliness. So you can all see some detail on.
This made me so happy when you made this
Nolenheimer piece.
This is from our Nolenheimer bit. This is the moment goes by very quickly in the trailer, but we wanted to imply that for whatever reason, Chris Nolan decided to blow up craft services, and so we made this little tent and downloaded some models, and then have this very fun.
That's so good. Golly, it's so funny.
Exciting explosion. And it's using a couple little tricks that you'll see. These little yellow beads right there are attaching the cloth from this cloth sim to this rigid pole. It's a little bit of a clunky system right now to try to get rigid and cloth objects to interact with each other, but we do what we can. We've got this fan blowing on the ceiling of that, and then a lot of the work is being done by these invisible spheres right here. So I have all these little invisible collider spheres that shoot up and hit different things in different ways and knock.
Simulating the hot gases of the explosion that you comped in later. I got it. Exactly.
So we had an existing live action element, and what it needed to look like was that this was reacting to the I think they're just setting off, a small little charge or something like that. Oh, whoops. What did I turn off?
You turned off your spheres instead of turning off their visibility.
Spider-Man turned off your spheres instead of
turning off. Those little red X's. You want to turn all those red X's to green.
Oh, whoops. There we go. Let's see if I can bring them all back. Bring it all back. There we go. So that's where those...
that tearing of that cloth looks so good, by the way.
So great. It's fun to play with the tearing on cloth, especially if you get just the right amount. Like, look at that. It's just shredded up. Like plastic.
It looks so like when it just goes off, like it just looks so like look at that. Oh, I love it.
I love that. Like there's like a popcorn unfurling frame.
No, you did. That is really good. Like when I saw that in the trailer, like the finished piece, I was like, did Hashi just use a bunch of dynamics to literally blow up a tent? And
he totally did.
Sure did.
To me, what sells it immediately is the coffee pot, is the coffee carafe.
It's just such a recognizable scale thing to just be like, oh, geez, that would be a stupid, dangerous thing to blow up next to the crew. Like, I do love that there's like crew right next to it when it happens.
Yeah, because we saw the clip and I was like, it'd be funny if you put Crafty right here. And you were like, the thing you immediately said was, I bet we could find some stock footage of people at picnics in like wind ruining someone's picnics. Something very specific that I was like, how did you like why did you just immediately go to that? How did you immediately think of windy picnic, people getting windy picnics ruined? I don't remember what you said. Hey guys, I want you to meet a friend of mine. This is Mr. Steven Spielberg. I got him this week from Mattel Creations, and he is literally the greatest action figure I've ever gotten. He comes with, first off, he's wearing the famous dinosaur Andy Warhol style shirt that he wore behind the scenes on Jurassic Park. He comes with film camera. He comes with a Steven Spielberg director's chair, and perhaps my favorite, a Dilophosaurus with a hydraulic stand. Hashi and I were talking about how these are the toys we actually wanted when we were kids. We didn't want to. What did you say, Hash? He said you didn't want to play with dinosaurs.
I don't want to play with Jurassic Park. Like I don't want to play dinosaurs. I want to play making a dinosaur movie.
Making a Jurassic Park, and finally you can do that with this new Mattel Creations Steven Spielberg action figure. I never realized how much I needed an action figure of the man until right now.
You also could be pretty good at product reads. I thought that was well done. Like so, that's this.
Like I've done it before. You know.
You manage the brand name and everything and like that in there. It's very difficult.
It is hard to say words for sure. So yeah. Is that our show?
I feel that might be our show for today. I feel like we really got through. Pretty much everything that I can think of that we.
Do you have anything rendered out for me, by the way, that I can?
Let's see. I'll call it end screen.
So many cat down OBJs. That's my fault. Sorry.
Whoops. Oh, that's got a bunch of blank frames at the end. Never mind. 1 second. You'll have it in a moment. This is live. This is live high quality television. Everybody.
Michael, you got anything you want to talk about or hype?
There's stuff I'd love to hype, but it's not.
And look for updates from Maxon at SIGGRAPH this week.
Oh yeah, there was a bunch of live streams from SIGGRAPH. Some cool VFX stuff was shown off using Cinema 4D for some really cool visual effects stuff by Jacob Dalton, who does some pretty cool stuff. So his presentation would be a good one to look at. He was on day one. And if you're into video editing and knocking some motion graphics together really fast, there was a pretty good presentation on that as well from what's his name? I think his name. Anyway, it was good.
That's good.
Anthony Barry, I think his name was.
Oh, Tony Barry, yeah.
Yeah, Tony Barry, yeah, him. So that was a pretty decent one. There wasn't any like new features talked about so much, but traditionally around the September-y times, there's some fun things to talk about that may or may not be happening this year as well. So I'm excited for those if they do happen and whenever they do happen. But nothing is set in stone for those yet. If you are not subscribed yet to the Red Giant YouTube channel, today would be a good day to do that. If I get that tutorial out on Monday, it's a fun one. It's a really good gorgeous technique, and you want to know when it comes out live. And of course, make sure you follow Red Giant News on Twix, Twitter X, whatever, and Instagram and Threads, or Red Giant Software on Facebook. There are tips pretty much every Tuesday. Usually a couple of tips, and starting to do a Fast Friday thing where on Fridays there's me trying to Fast Fridays is me trying to recreate an effect with a timer going to see how fast I can get it done. So check that out. In case you guys don't know, Michael churns out more content than Hashi and I have a week than Hashi and I have in our life.
It's
worth following all of our social media accounts for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I love you. Next week, we got our season finale, and it's going to be one for the ages. I'm very excited. Please tune in. Same chill time. Same. I hate myself.